What up, peeps? It's your super sketch artist Antonio back, and I have reassembled my head from all of the bombs that Heroclix dropped on us last night. So shout out to WizKids for giving us all this info right at the cusp of Origins. I got so much to talk about with so many Heroclix players in person, and I'm going to talk about it with you right now. So just quick rundowns, because this coming Friday will be the first episode of my podcast, so where I will be going a little bit more in depth and some theory crafting. But this is just my initial reaction, and OMG, Thundercats, 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 Poe. I can't wait, cannot wait for this set. This is exactly what we as Heroclix players that have been playing for like 20 plus years have wanted. 80s babies like myself. We want the Thundercats. We want all these IPs that we grew up with. We want these things that we've loved and we've seen done in different games. So why not Heroclix? And I understand licensing is expensive and it's a thing, but it's so great to see this, knowing that we are going to get 5 figures for the price that we're actually getting it for, and 6 bystanders. I will talk more about what I think those 6 bystanders will be, what I think people like Lino will do. Tigers are my favorite animal, so Tigra was my favorite Thundercat besides Lino back in the day. Panthro, nunchucks are my favorite, like weapon. So of course, when the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles came out and Michelangelo had his nunchucks, I was like, oh my gosh, I love nunchucks because Panthro had nunchucks. So I absolutely cannot wait to see what these figures do. Lino looks amazing. The sculpt looks so good. Chitara looks great. Tigra looks great. I do wish Tigra would have almost had like a more dynamic looking sculpt where he was kind of vanishing like in his whip. I understand that probably would have been insane to probably do sculpt wise. So they did stuff real tame. I love when we get twirling effects in the game. So Panthro having his nunchucks twirling. Yes, I absolutely love it. And also, like, if we're really gonna talk about it, like, Mum-Ra looks great, and Mum-Ra didn't have to look. There was opportunities for him to not. They could have did the like mummified looking Mum-Ra, like the weak looking Mum-Ra, and they did that big looking Mum-Ra, and I can't wait to play with Mum-Ra. Maybe he'll even have a sideline active kind of trait where, stuff happens and then all of a sudden he pops out, kind of like he did in the show. He didn't start off in that big, bulky, powerful form all the time. He had that weaker form. So who knows? Maybe, he'll even have some kind of mechanic that makes him or allows him to even do that. I would absolutely love it. I cannot wait for Thundercats to come out. I'm so excited. I'm also so excited just because of what we might get in the future. Now, it said Warner Brothers. So we know Beetlejuice was a Warner Brothers property, and we know Thundercats is a Warner Brothers property. I didn't even know that. But what that also does is now it makes me want to go and research what other IPs Warner Brothers has to possibly be able to give to us. Maybe they do have Terminator. Maybe they do have Predator. Maybe they do have Aliens that we could possibly get in Heroclix form. Who knows? But I'm super excited for what is going to come, not only with the Thundercats, but the seed that's planted by that. That is a big thing for us 80s babies. It is a big thing for lovers of different IP and lovers of just something that's not just Marvel or DC. So this is a great step forward. WizKids has done lots of different IPs in the past, but it's never quite taken off the way that they probably even wanted it or thought it might. And this is going to be something that is just as big as when I first saw those Ninja Turtles and, say Street Fighter or Lord of the Rings or Yu-Gi-Oh, all stuff that I'm looking at around I collect all the IPs. As long as it has a Heroclix dial and it's compatible with the game, I'm going to collect it. So next up, we have a piece I definitely was not like, I did not think I was going to see, and that is Hercules. Now, we just got a Hercules as a legacy card in Smash and Destroy, And we got a Hercules in the Black Panther set. But this is not the Marvel Universe Hercules. This is not the Disney I Can Go the Distance Hercules, that would have been cool. But this is the traditional Hercules that he's wearing the lion's mane. I have this picture that I'm showing you right now on my wall, and this is Hercules versus the Hydra. Shout out to my first judge, Tom Price. Rest in peace to him. I got this when he passed, and it sits on my wall, and I absolutely love it. It's a great piece of art, and this is a clear representation of the Hercules of myth, that the average depiction of Hercules. This big old club and this very cool lion's mane. This was more like when The Rock did Hercules. His Hercules looked more like the traditional Hercules. So I cannot wait to see what this does. And it comes with a big old Hydra. Now, this is only on a double base. This is only on a 1x2 base, not a 2x2, which I wish it kind of would have been, considering how big it's going to be, but I think it's going to be a really big figure. Now, we've seen really big figures on a single base with detachable pieces before. Drew had that back in the day, where you detach his arms. Even, say, a smaller figure like the Ultimate Mr. Fantastic came in 2 pieces that you would attach and everything like that. We've seen things like that. Even someone like Regent with his little energy ball that you could take off and put on, which wasn't supposed to be that way, but it ended up being that way. I liked it anyway. This Hydra, you know what the organization Hydra says: you cut off one head and 2 grow in its place. And that's exactly what happens with this thing. You cut off one head and 2 will grow back in its place. And I like that they show that. It shows that 2 of the heads can come off, and then you replace it with 2 heads. So just like this Galactus with the replaceable head and everything, I like when Heroclix does that. I know it goes into the realms of toy, which they kind of want to stay away from, but this Hydra looks great. I won the Serpent back in the day, the big prize for the Fear itself. Sits in my son's basement or in his room, and with that being the case, I can't wait to see what this Hydra actually does. Will it be a viable piece? We know it's probably going to have animal. We know it's probably going to have monster keyword. Might have something else. Who knows? But at least it's going to have those 2, maybe even past, or maybe probably mystical as well. Hercules will probably have maybe, say, warrior and deity. I mean, all of the generic keywords that the Hercules that we have from like brute and all those different things. And we just got Smash and Destroy that has tons of help for brutes. So I can't wait to see what this Hercules does. I'm super excited. Another thing that I was not expecting at all, that blows my mind: Flash, the Speed Force Iconix. OMG. So Terminal Velocity is done. It was drawn by Mike Waringo. Rest in peace to him, one of my favorite artists, and is one of the best Flash storylines ever. It's called Terminal Velocity. And if you haven't read it, go check it out online. You don't even got to read comics anymore. If you want to, you can just listen to the story on YouTube. But go look up Terminal Velocity. It's a great story that really brings Wally into his own. Wally West is my favorite Flash. So with this being the thing where when I looked at the sculpts, I didn't know who was who. I was like, which one is Wally? And then I looked at the actual suits and I saw one was darker. Wally's suit is darker than Barry's. So I'm a big Wally West fan, and so seeing Wally doing the tornado hands, yes. Barry's in there just doing the classic run with the electricity. Jay Garrick, which I'm very surprised that we're getting Jay Garrick in there, considering that we're going to get Jay in the Lantern Legacy set, but Jay is the original Flash. So I'm pumped to see him as well. Hopefully he does something great. The cool thing about Iconix is you can go balls to the wall. You can go all the way with the Iconix. It's not a rarity. It doesn't have to have a common dial or a super rare dial. This is just a standalone figure. So why not go all the way? Like, make it as good can be. It also has the Black Flash in there. Now, what I'm hoping is that when the Black Flash comes out, he could essentially also have a sideline active trait that when somebody uses hypersonic, then he can appear. How cool would that be? Because that's what happens. Or when someone uses hypersonic and then someone takes damage, he appears. Something cool like that. I don't want him to just be a speedster that has big movement and stuff like that. I want him to be able to not only possibly steal your speed, but I want him to be able to appear where speed is being used, because he's always around there. He's like the Grim Reaper that you cannot see. That's what the Black Flash is, the Grim Reaper for speedsters. And one of my favorite stories was with Wally. Wally had lost his family, had lost his wife, and he had lost his connection to the Speed Force. And what happened was the Black Flash came for him, and it ignited that drive back in him. And then he ended up running and ran all the way to the end of reality and destroyed the Black Flash, and then ran back through time and saved his wife and all this other. It was such a great story. Like, Wally West has so many great stories. I love all the different iterations of Flash. I wish Impulse would have been in there, or the new 52 Wally West. That would have been cool too if they would have just make a whole kind of pack like a Death of Superman. But they got the three main Flashes. This wasn't about the Kid Flash. These are the three main Flashes, which is Barry, Wally, and Jay, and the Black Flash. So I am super excited. These sculpts look absolutely amazing. They started doing this lightning bolt with the DC, what was it? DC, not DC 75th, DC 10th anniversary. There's a Jay Garrick that's in there and a Wally that's in there, and they're both on these like lightning bolt kind of bases, and that's what they're on. And they've done that multiple times in with the Flash. They put them on that lightning bolt kind of base, and it just fits the character so well. Those three things came out. Another bomb that we got dropped on us. For people like myself, I buy the starters. So knowing that we're for the Marvel side, we're going to get an X-Men starter with the Wolverine, the Jean, the Cyclops, and that Bishop. Now, if you watch X-Men 97, and when you look at that Bishop sculpt, and if you know the character of Bishop, you know what Bishop hopefully will be able to do. They've done it before in Heroclix here and there just a little bit, but this sculpt looks amazing for Bishop. Bishop's definitely one of my favorite characters coming up. When I'm an 80s baby, so when Bishop first came on the scene, he was like, oh my gosh, this guy's so badass. Oh geez, I've met the creator, Will Spartasio. I've met him before, and he's a great guy. So to see his creation, I guess I got to go get this signed by him, because why not? The heck not? I can't wait. Hopefully this Jean also is very good. I really want a Jean that is. They've been doing Jean really good justice. I want a Jean that's in this costume, in the yellow and the blue costume, but is a beast. I want a Jean that's like that. Cyclops is Cyclops. Cyclops generally is done well. This Wolverine sculpt looks great. I expect Wolverine to do Wolverine things. We know they're going to have a 50 and a 75 point version. I'm hoping that those 75 point versions and even the 50 point versions, because this year's starters for Marvel and for DC, I liked both of them. So knowing that we're going to get some cool stuff from DC, and knowing we're going to get some cool stuff now from Marvel too, I cannot wait to see what those dials are. And lastly, the last bomb that they dropped, not a little grenade, maybe not a bomb, but a little grenade, was showing the X-Men 400. So I'm gonna call it the Fast Forces set, but what it really is just 4 figures that at top dial can come out to 400 points, and you can of course always play them at a lower point value. I think Cap's Kooky Quartet set a bar. So the Wakanda Forever was the first one, or I guess I don't know if it's called Wakanda Forever, but the Wakanda set was the first one, and that one wasn't bad. But Cap's Kooky Quartet is leagues above that one in design and synergy, and what it does is synergizes with all of the Avengers and other characters thanks to the team up card that comes with it. So we know that this X-Men 400 hopefully will give us something with these 4 figures that not only synergizes with themselves, but with other characters that are going to be coming out. You know, we're getting X-Men 97 in a few months. So we know we're in this box, we're getting Wolverine, we're getting a battle damage, Jubilee, we're getting Storm, which is probably like the common Storm. This might be an uncommon Wolverine sculpt. This, or maybe a common Wolverine sculpt. Looks like probably a common Forge sculpt, hopefully. And this looks like maybe at least a rare or possible super rare Jubilee sculpt with the extra plasmoids that she makes. I'm hoping for 100-point dial Storm that is comparable to this lady right here, Hadari. I'm hoping for something that is I don't expect it to be as good as Hadari, because Hadari is very good, but I want it to be at its top dial. I want it to be something that represents Storm well, that when you put this on the map, this is Storm. This is the weather wizard. This is the goddess of, the X-Men. So I'm hoping that, and let's hope that Forge is one of those things that he does, maybe like a Shuri, where he can make equipment for the X-Men. Let's see. I'm hoping that's what it is. It would be great if it was. They could even go into the point where he can make a, power neutralizing type of thing. They can do any of these types of things with these characters, even Jubilee. I'm excited to see what they're going to do with Jubilee, just because I think at this point, if you're going to put characters in product, they need to be good. They just need to be good. Whatever role that they play, make them exceptional at that. If you're just going to be a support character, exceptional. If you're going to be a tie-up piece, be an exceptional tie-up piece. If you're going to be a bruiser, top tier. If you're going to be a range cannon, top tier. For all of those types of roles that are played in the game of Heroclix. Whatever role that you play, if you're going to make it in non-blind product, make it good. All of this product that I've talked about is non-blind. So I fully expect the Thundercats, Hercules and the Hydra, the Speed Force set, the X-Men starter, and this X-Men 400, and the other 400s that we have slated. We have the Lantern Legacy slated. We have the Spider-Man that hasn't come out yet. We have the Guardians that hasn't come out yet. I expect all of those things, especially those 400s. After Cap's Kooky Quartet, I expect all of them to be top tier. So all fingers are crossed that they end up being that way. But these are just my first thoughts. These are about what we got to see yesterday. I text people who don't even play Heroclix, and they were responding with like the head explosion emoji and everything like that. And I was like, I know. Please know I am going crazy. My friend Wesley and I, and my friend Errol and I, and my Padawan Sulai, we all three of us were just going crazy. And I text Sulai's brother, who doesn't even play Heroclix, and he was like, I might get back into the game thanks to Thundercats. And that's what it's about. It's about brand recognition and bringing people back into the game based on characters that they actually like to play. So golf clap for WizKids doing this and keeping it under wraps. That's the joy of the situation. This blindsided me, and I know the rest of the community, because who knew that we would be getting Thundercats of all things? We who knew? Like Hercules and the Hydra, that's not even a big stretch, right? Okay, all right. But like Thundercats, come on. So good job on WizKids for even like say something like the Jersey Devil that just came out. Good job on making characters that people have been asking for, and you're making it in a way that makes it cool to actually acquire them. So kudos to you. I'm so excited. Like I am so excited. The rest of this year and going into next year is going to be insane. It is all gas, no brakes. I need everything. I need Lantern's Legacy. I need X-Men 97. I need Strange Tales. We haven't even, once we get closer to Strange Tales, Dr. Doom as the Sorcerer Supreme. If you're not reading One World Under Doom, Spider-Man in the black costume with the Sorcerer Supreme stuff on with the Eye of Agamotto. OMG. We haven't even got there yet. And that stuff is coming out later on this year. I'm going to be working overtime drawing these pictures so I can afford all of these Heroclix. The plastic crack is real. With that being the case, what say you? What do you think of all of this stuff that's coming out? Do you like it? Are you not really impressed? I know a lot of people want to see dials before they pre-order. I pre-ordered everything because I know I'm going to want it before. I just know I'm going to want it. I know I'm going to want it. So with that being the case, what say you? Tell me what you think. Of course, I love talking Heroclix with any and everybody that wants to talk. I love hearing your opinions and just chatting with you in the comments below. As always, it's your super sketch artist, Antonio. Be good to yourself. Be good to others. Go be super.